For another edition of Ideas Exchange. Our program is live on our social media handles, Facebook, YouTube, and of course the rest that you've always known. Tonight, our conversation will be very exciting because something many of us anticipated maybe should have happened a long time ago. Today, we have a list of new ministerial nominees. Some of them may have been reassigned, but at least we know that some cabinet ministers, including two close relatives of the president, the finance minister, the roads and highways minister, are going out. And then we see on the list other cabinet ministers who are going out at a time when the president has consistently told the nation, regardless of the appeals from analysts, from economists, from civil society organizations, from the opposition, that he's very satisfied in his appointees and they are delivering, and therefore is not going to listen to the advice to reshuffle them. So 10 months to the election, why is the president making the changes now? Now, if you look at the list, we have many of some of these ministers who are going to places that many people are raising eyebrows. For example, the information minister, some would say, has not performed creditably in his portfolio, as we know now, is going to head the Works and Housing Ministry. The Greater Accra Regional Minister is going to the Interior Ministry. The Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, will remain as a Minister of State. And then we are picking several other interesting signals. So why now? A strategy? Too late? Any impact to be made? These are the things that will inform our conversation. Earlier, I was referring you to two critical things that many Ghanaians are interested in. For example, a lot of people long anticipated that the finance minister should go or will go. Now, on this list, Ken Ofori-Atta is going, but we are picking signals that is being given another portfolio as an advisor. I will speak to that later. But why now? Because just last week, Dr. Bawumia, who is the NPP's 2020 flag bearer, was outlining his vision for what I will simplify as a better Ghana going forward. The narrative of his conversation was not too much about building on the track record of Nana Akufo-Addo, because he was trying to disassociate himself from NPP and the Nana Akufo-Addo's track record, but he's part of it. But it will look interesting that while Ken Ofori-Atta is going, his cousin, Kwesi Amwakwata, is also going. Now, while they are going, a lot of people are now trying to draw some linkages. Why did Gabi Asare Ochre-Dakun, who is known as one of the key architects in everything that happens at the presidency, announcing that is quitting local politics? What is informing that? At a time when many people will be expecting that they will be on the ground supporting Nana Akufo-Addo. Because when he was announcing his bold policies or his vision, Ken Ofori-Atta was not there, Nana Asante Bedietio was not there, Gabi Asare Ochre-Dakun was not there, and the president was not there. What does this mean? Well, tonight, these are the things that will inform our conversations, the reshuffle, Bawumia's vision, and we are looking at it from the perspective of a critical media, not the sycophancy where people can see the truth and will not speak truth to power. So I'll be speaking to two people on this program. The first is David Tamaklo. He's a former vice president of the Private Newspapers Publishers Association of Ghana. Let me put it this way, PREMPAG. Then I'll also be speaking to Dr. Jonathan Asante. He's a political analyst and a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. They will be my guests tonight. And of course, if there is time, I may give you space to also call into the program and speak your mind. And so let me first of all welcome my guest in the studio is David Tamaklo. David, Good evening, and thanks for joining me.
Good evening, my brother, Eric.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know you have been very critical as a publisher, as the editor-in-chief of WhatsApp News, which is an online news portal. And of course, I know you've been engaged in a number of things. Of course, we all know you are an investigative journalist, and therefore, when you come out with a lot of facts, sometimes when government does not appreciate what you are doing, you are chased in here and there. Now, first of all, this is coming at a time when many people have long suspected that there are some of the ministers who have been kicked out, have some cobwebs that must be cleared from their wardrobes. Did this list come to you as a surprise? 13 or so going, or 8 from, that's deputies and ministers, 16 in all, going at the same time?
Well, Eric, thanks to you and thanks to your listeners. I think that to talk about the issue of reshuffle on a very interesting day like the Valentine's Day, and of course the recent public lecture by Dr. Bawumia, the Vice President, we cannot delink the two. And so it doesn't come to me as a surprise. If you see and listen to Dr. Bawumia's lecture, it was obvious that he's struggling to count another image for himself, trying to whitewash himself. And that is evident in the latest reshuffle. And you will recall that throughout the 8 years of President Akufo-Addo, there have been calls from various places, including inside of the MPP, for him to make reshuffle, particularly when things got very tough for the party. And he came up with all kinds of excuses, which kind of caused some shake-ups in the party, within the party. It cost people their positions in the party and all that. So for Nanado to come up with, or let me say the government to come up with a reshuffle at these odd hours, I look at it in so many ways, but to say that it's very dramatic. Dramatic in a sense that, and of course, let me point out that from my investigations, this list was not made by the president. How? This is a list from the insider sources. This is a list coming directly from Dr. Bawumia's tables. And you see, if you look critically into the appointments, you realize that some of his people who are more closer to him have been given positions. People who are not close to him have been taken out. If you have ever challenged him, either openly or is seen to have been associated with you know, his people who stood up to him one way or the other, you are not in this list. And that's one way of looking at it. It's also looked to me like a situation where the president is trying to clean his corrupt ministers. And if you take from one ministry to the other, those who have been kicked out, particularly his relatives who have been kicked out, there have been issues, you know, from procurement infractions to very dubious deals that they have done in the past. And to remove them at this time when the president has told us that, you know, he is following some kind of a U.S. Following a U.S. Format system where the president comes and goes with his appointees, then you would be wondering why this time. So I'm telling you, this list came from Dr. Bawumia's table.
Let me cut in briefly. When you say the list came allegedly, let me put it from my understanding or interpretation of what you are putting across from Dr. Bawumia's table. Dr. Bawumia just days ago said, I am a driver's mate. I don't take decisions. And the same Dr. Bawumia is creating the impression that the president is in full control. Is it an indication of a president setting the stage to give Dr. Bawumia's campaign machinery some breathing space, or the president is possibly trying to clean up give enough space to those who are too close to him to get out and have their peace of mind and not be part of a certain transition team in future?
Well, you can look at it in two ways. That the president may be looking at giving him an opportunity to show what he could do in the next couple of months, in spite of the fact that it's still late. It may be too late. You can't look at it from that angle. You can also look at it from the angle that it looks like, you know, people have, he's trying to give a different image of the government to the public.
But that's too late as we speak.
It is too late. It is too late. And of course, I mean, if you know some of the kind of, you know, deals, the kind of issues around corruption, non-performance, inefficiency and all that, you put all of those things together, you know, you will be wondering if, you know, the president, whoever came up with this list, is not trying to do in the new appointees. Because, I mean, I'm you know, comparing this to a situation, I mean, it's funny, but, I mean, where somebody has cooked fufu and with palm nut soup, eating everything, the bones, the meat, everything, and then when he finished, he put his hands in the oil and splashed it on your lips. Then they came asking who actually ate the fufu, and the evidence shows that the person whose mouth has the oil is the one who ate the fufu.
You are virtually saying he's making a mockery of the new appointees? Because they will take about 3 months to understand the new portfolios they are going to occupy, irrespective of how much experience they may have, even some of them who are going to be reassigned. And then virtually 6 months, including heated campaign period, to deliver.
Look, there's a lot of issues we are dealing with, and particularly in an election year. All those issues of, you know, corruption and all those things are going to be coming up. Who is going to answer them? It is the same new people who are going to answer them. The people who have been left off the hook, I mean, who has been relieved of their positions, are not going to come and speak to those things. It's going to be the people who have now been appointed who are going to be speaking to issues of Japan. They are going to be speaking to, I mean, all the, you know, corruption infractions that you can think about. So these are the people who are going to talk about it when they don't know exactly how it happened, or, you know, who actually did.
Does it mean the president is taking Ghanaians for granted to the advantage of him and his cronies or
that is obvious,
relatives?
Eric, that is an obvious answer. That, I mean, if you look at what, not the president alone, I think the entire government is taking Ghanaians for a ride. If you listen carefully to what the vice president did the last time when he was in the public lecture, I mean, this is a man who at a point was projected as a wizkid of a sort, who was the one who was actually going to drive the government. All of a sudden telling you that he, comparing himself to a driver's mate, he told you that if he comes as a president, he's going to cancel e-levy. Meanwhile, e-levy, we are still paying e-levy. He is still in the same government. We've been told of his, you know, his great performance as the head of the economic management team. We've been told that he was very pivotal to the passing of e-levy, except for those who are telling us now on the fringe that he opposed it in cabinet. I mean, how are we supposed to know whether indeed he opposed it in cabinet? By the same people who are trying to break the aid, that the person who is leading them now opposed this in cabinet, yet it was passed. There was an e-levy party. He attended with his wife, and they sat there. Pictures were taken, videos were taken, and we are being told that he wasn't part of the e-levy passage. He talks about, what's the name? The other digitization. And he's not able to point out exactly what he did about digitization.
In terms of infrastructure.
Infrastructure-wise.
And so on. But let me take you a little back to one very, very critical issue you raised from your work as an investigative journalist, a publisher, and so on and so forth. You make reference to the fact that some of them have been tagged as having been involved in corruption or have actually been part of some corruption deals which are still hanging because systems have not changed, or maybe they are being protected. Only days ago, this issue came up. A Japan deal, over $12 million, has been paid without even the knowledge of Parliament. You dug into these issues very well. And of course, the finance minister will be critical here at this stage. And some people whose names popped up. How does this come across with this reshuffle coming in now?
Eric, and that is very interesting. If you recall the Japan issue, after the matter was exposed, where we were told that Gabi Asare-Otridaku's firm, the African legal consult, was a legal advisor to the deal. Then we were told by Gabi at a point that he was a local agent for White & Case, which is a UK company. And questions were being asked what the track record of African legal consult was. It turned out that Imara, if you recall, I'm just trying to recall some of the incidents. Imara, which was a South African company, had a dealing with Databank, the finance minister's company. And this Imara was the one that recommended Gabi Asare-Otridaku. So all these things hanging on the neck of the finance minister, who is going to be answering to these questions? Who is going to answer these questions? Is it going to be Amin Anta, who doesn't know anything about it?
But he has been a minister of state at the finance ministry at the office of the president.
Yes, I mean, but if you follow the defense of the presidency at the time, how this money was paid, the 12 million, it never came. $12 million, it never came up. Was it paid in a legal fee? Was it paid as a consultancy to Databank or Imara, who was linked to Databank? If we are asking all these questions, how is Amin Anta going to answer this question? And so I'm thinking that they either want to just do this guy, and it may be it may sound like a tribal issue, but when the likes of Dr. Baumia, and I've heard people say that, now look, in the M slide, they try to use some other ethnic group, and